So you're thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and particularly you're interested in that Conway, South Carolina area. Well, you're in luck because in today's video, we're gonna show you something super cool to do right here in Conway, South Carolina. We're gonna take you to the Horry County Museum. And let's get after it right now. If you like the content that you're receiving on the Living in Myrtle Beach channel, then please tap that bell for notifications, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop us a comment. We love talking with you, and share these videos on your social media so that you can be the first to learn about current market changes right here in the Myrtle Beach market. Now, I get calls and email, the teams get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking to make that move to Myrtle Beach. So whether you're 1 month or 3 years out, no matter where you are in that buying process, get in contact with us. We'd love to answer your questions. Send us a text message, shoot us an email, give us a call, hop on a live Zoom conference call, all in that description below so that we can help you make a smooth move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. All right, guys, so as you'll notice, back behind me and to my left is the, not Conway, but the Horry County Museum in Conway. Now, this place is amazing. It is a treat and it is a find. I will tell you that it's free. If you've got kids, you want something cheap and, you want something free and fun to do, that's gonna be educational, exploratory. This is one of the gems of Conway. Now, keep in mind, Conway is that, it's that dreamy kind of southern little hallmark city. It is an excellent little town. They do all kinds of decorating throughout the year, and there's all kinds of festivals and stuff, Riverfest, lots of fun stuff to do here in Conway. If you're interested in this market, please get in contact with us because we'd be more than happy to answer your questions about all the cool things to do just in that Conway, South Carolina area. And if you want more information on some of the restaurants here, please check out our top 10 restaurants right there in Conway, South Carolina. Had a lot of fun doing that with my teammate Jason Pippin. Lots of great content, great places to eat right here in Main Street. Lots of cool stuff going on. Yeah, you guessed it. The place back behind me is the Horry County Museum. Let's get in here and check it out. All right, guys, so I've got Thomas. Can you say that last name for me, Thomas?
Strebeck.
Mr. Thomas Strebeck with us here today. He is the Horry County Museum Technical Assistant. He's going to be giving us just a little brief tour on the museum, kind of highlighting some of the things that you don't want to miss when you come out this way. Now, as our first little, I wouldn't call it an exhibit, but there is a fish tank back behind us, and it is in the center of a gigantic stairwell. Thomas, can you kind of fill us in a little bit on that?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. So all the fish you see in here, look, they can get a close-up. So these were caught right here in Horry County in the Whack-A-Mole River by our friends at the Department of Natural Resources. So we have here one of our catfish. We have several gar. Make sure not to put your fingers in the tank. They look like worms to a fish, and those little suckers bite. We also have a couple bass in there. They're keeping them company. And he's hiding right now. He's a little camera shy. But we have a brim that lives right there in that center column. And this was put in 2014 by our friends on the show Tank, which was a reality television show. And we actually had to, so the stairwell was built elsewhere, and then they took part of the roof off and lowered the stairwell in, and then the tank was built inside of it. And now it's kind of the centerpiece here of our lobby.
Wow, super cool. Mm-hmm. Super cool and very exciting. Well, let's get moving on to the next exhibit.
So here at the Horry County Museum, we have a lot of fascinating exhibits, as you can see on both sides of me now. But like every museum, most of our collections are in storage in our archives. So to give you all a sense of what that's like and to give you a peek behind the curtain, we have what we call an open storage collection in this room. So we have all kinds of things from our collection that maybe don't fit with a specific exhibit, but we wanted to give you a sense of what all we have. So we have a variety of things. So here, that colorful history of alcohol I mentioned, this is a chapter of it, a still recovered right here in Horry County. We even have 19th century firearms that people used to feed their families. We have a local dough bowl. Your grandmother might have had one of these. We even have a boat that was handmade by a cherished local boat builder. We have a cash register from one of the old general stores, and more taxidermied local wildlife than you can shake a stick at.
All right, guys, I have with me here Dalton and Reagan. They just happen to be enjoying the military exhibit right here in Horry County Museum. Dalton does happen to be a veteran, so we're going to ask him his opinion on this exhibit and his experience so far here at the Horry County Museum.
So what I will say, I was definitely caught off guard because you've lived here your entire life, and I have lived here for, it'll be 2 years in December, only 2 years. And not once, short of being on a very obscure podcast, did we know there was even an Horry County Museum. So when we got here and realized, one, how large and how well kept and just the vast amount of stuff that happens to be in here, definitely caught me off guard. I mean, obviously, everyone that was in the Air Force knows there used to be a base in Myrtle Beach. I don't know a ton about it. I walked in, and now I can learn literally anything there could be that I want to learn about that. So it's really cool to see the Air Force history, one. But two, it's really, really cool to see our local municipality funding something like this, where it is free to the public. You can come in, and it is inspiring people to learn about the history of the area for a lot of people where they grew up and where their entire family is from. So it's really cool to see that happen and have that be something that's accessible to the public that I think a lot of people are not fortunate enough to have.
I mean, I've been here my entire life, and I didn't even know there's a POW camp in Myrtle Beach, so pretty cool.
And so this is actually, it's really funny that we met you guys because this is the first room we went to and met you. We were very excited to see the rest of the museum, but we are off to a very good start.
All right, guys, we had so much fun filming that last exhibit with Thomas. We're gonna give you one more exhibit. We're not gonna show you everything in this place because we wanna just leave a little bit more fun for you to have when you come out here to explore it for yourself and learn. We're gonna take you into the Horry County, the history of industry right here in Horry County, that exhibit. Let's let Thomas take it away.
So behind me, this gallery shows how all the different ways that people from Horry County have made their living. And we like to say that the history of the major industries in Horry County can be summed up by the 4 T's: tobacco, turpentine, timber, and tourism. So to my right here, we have exhibits about raising tobacco, from how it's cured, to how it would be loaded up and taken to market, to how it would later be sold, including in some of the cigarettes that were included with C rations during the Second World War. As we go on, we have something about cotton. We are here down in the South, the old kingdom of cotton. And then behind me, what we get into is timber and turpentine. So turpentine is essentially tree sap that's been refined a bit to be used as tar. And once upon a time, the Royal Navy really, really liked to use that. And then once we evicted the British, we started using the timber. You can make a lot of different things out of it, brought a lot of jobs here. And then once that's kind of started to fall off, we realized we have beautiful beaches. The folks in Florida are getting tourists. Maybe some of those folks would like to come here. So that's when we get into Myrtle Beach, the Grand Strand, and folks just like you who are coming here to see us.
All right, Thomas, I have to ask you, what is this right here?
So this is a really interesting artifact where I mentioned turpentine. That would be collected in large barrels like this, and this was put on a ship to be taken and sold. The ship sank, barrel falls into the river, and eventually the wood of the barrel rots away, leaving this giant cylinder of turpentine. This is what would be made into sap, and this is a really fascinating kind of byproduct of the industry we used to have here in Horry County.
All right, real quick before we move on, I know I said that was the last little exhibit, but I heard a super cool story about a general named Conway. Can you, Thomas, school us on that?
Certainly. So when this area was first settled, the settlement was named Kingston by the British colonists, kind of tipping the metaphorical hat to His Majesty King George III. And after the Revolutionary War, suddenly we're Americans, we have our own identity, we don't want to be paying homage to somebody else's king. So a delegation got together and they said, all right, we're going to rename the town after a hero of the Revolutionary War, a gentleman of French ancestry named General Huger, and they were going to call the town Hugerborough. But they sent Robert Conway to the state legislature to get approval for that. And when he gets back, he says, hey, that name was already taken, which maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. If there's a Huger, South Carolina, I haven't been there, either way. But he says, hey, I decided to just name it after myself, so now we're a Conway borough. Surprise.
Well, what an excellent tidbit of history.
So we have one more really interesting artifact for y'all here, and that's this to my left. This is what's called a blood chit.
Can you say that again?
Okay, YouTube, do not demonetize my friend here. That was not the word you thought it was. 2 words, blood chit. So these artifacts were given to pilots in the United States Air Force, or Army Air Corps as it was then. And it has a message on here: I am a citizen of the United States of America. I do not speak your language. Misfortune forces me to seek your assistance in obtaining food. And it goes on to, and it concludes by saying, my government will reward you if the pilot is returned to allies of the United States. And it has that in all these different languages, from English, Burmese, Thai, Laotian, 2 different forms of Chinese. And this was given to pilots in the hopes that they could give this to the people who found them, and they could be safely returned to the United States.
All right, Thomas, where are we now?
So we're here in the McCown Auditorium. Our museum was originally built to be a school, and this was the school auditorium. And while we're not going to make you come to the assembly every Monday, we do have programs that are open to the public. We will bring in experts that we know and have worked with, and they'll discuss things they've researched, from the wildlife in Horry County, from alligators to bald eagles, to historical topics, from women in the Revolutionary War to the, shall we say, colorful history of alcohol in the state dispensary system here in South Carolina. And we've even had live music ranging from classical musicians to a local bluegrass band. And we'd certainly love for you to come out and to enjoy these free programs and to come see what we have to show.
All right, guys, I've got to show you what we've been looking at this whole time. I want you to see this theater. We're going to do a little spin. Spin, 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 spin. You can see the downstairs and the upstairs. Plenty of seating in this place. So this place was built back in the 1920s. That was before the AV, wiring was a thing. So the acoustics in here they're absolutely stunning. All right, guys, so before we go, I did want to mention that the hours of the museum are Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 5. They are closed on Sunday and Monday. I do want to reiterate the fact that it is free for everyone to come out here, friends and family, to enjoy this wonderful historic museum. I will tell you guys one other tidbit. This place was actually established back in, was it 1978 originally, at the old post office, and then it was relocated down this way back in 2014 to this current, this older refurbished school. Thomas, can you school us a little bit on the extension of the museum? Isn't there an extension?
Yes, certainly. So in addition to our campus here in downtown Conway, just a few miles up the road, we also have a living history farm. It's called the L.W. Paul Living History Farm, and it's showing life at your typical one-horse family farm here in Horry County. So we have a house where we normally have a domestic interpreter who's cooking or talking about things that people did just day to day. We also have several acres under cultivation. We have tobacco, corn, sugarcane. And you'll see those. It's a working farm. We're harvesting out there. You might see us out there hitching up the mules, plowing. So that place is open from 9 to 4, also Tuesday through Saturday. So if you want to go out and learn about life in rural South Carolina and see how your average farmer lived, our friends out there would certainly love to tell you all about it.
All right, guys, we've had so much fun on today's show. Thank you so much for joining us here, checking out the Horry County Museum in Conway, South Carolina. If you want to check out some other great videos right in our market on other things to do here, please click left right below and check out some of those other videos right here on the Living in Myrtle Beach channel.